18 News Today.
And welcome back to 18 News Today. I'm here with Dr. Richard Terry of LECOM in Elmira. And Dr. Terry, how are you doing this morning?
Very well, thank you.
Well, you're here to kind of express some important issues. Can you tell me a little about what you're doing here this morning?
Well, this morning we're going to talk about why it is so important that we recruit local students from the southern tier to come to medical school here.
Well, and I'm going to let you take it right there. So why is it so important to be recruiting locally for these programs?
Well, if we can recruit locally, we have a much better chance of retaining these doctors to stay in the area and practice. And you know, nationally we're facing a shortage of some 100,000 physicians in the next decade, primary care and specialists alike. And right now in Chemung County, the southern tier, we have a shortage of doctors. And we find that if we can train them locally, recruit them locally, they're more apt to stay and practice here.
So what are some of those recruiting techniques you guys use to get these nurses and physicians to not only come and do this schooling, but stay in the area locally?
That's an excellent question. Well, we're a medical school, so we recruit physicians, but we have a lot of articulation agreements with many of the colleges. There are about 7 right within 70 miles, and most of them have facilitated agreements with us to allow for facilitated admission, meaning if they meet the criteria for admission, they have a seat. So we're doing that to try to recruit from the local colleges, even on some levels taking it down to the high school level to recruit local students to stay in the area.
Now, do you find it easier to recruit these students, especially having so many local hospitals almost around here? I know I'm from the Syracuse area, but you guys have one in almost every single county. It seems like these students, once they're done, they can go and do internships, or I don't know the correct terminology for it, but basically residencies or type things.
Well, though there is a shortage of GME spots, LECOM students are very competitive. They tend to be able to go anywhere they want in the country, so it still remains a challenge. I think the key is getting local students who are willing to come back and practice in upstate New York, namely the southern tier.
Well, Dr. Terry, give me your best sales pitches if you were trying to, as if I were a local student, if you were going to try to sell me LECOM, what would you say to me?
Well, it's an outstanding education to live in an outstanding area with great training and the opportunity to do residency training right in this area. And then, of course, after that, it's a wonderful place to live, great place to practice, high quality of life.
And my final question for you, Dr. Terry, is how do students go about applying to be a part of LECOM? What are some of the criteria that they need? For someone who maybe would go and see this interview today, how would they get involved with LECOM?
Well, I would go to our website, lecom.edu. We offer a number of programs, not just medicine, pharmacy, dentistry, various master's programs. So check that out. You can see what the criteria are and start there. We also have a number of preparatory programs for students who might not quite be there to get into medical school or dental school. But these programs typically are a year and get them ready.
Well, Dr. Terry, I want to thank you so much for coming in this morning, but that's all the time we have. We're going to be right back with more news and weather after the break.